Hello, my name is Valerie Ling. I'm actually a clinical psychologist, but that is not who you are going to be hearing from today. In fact, I am also a small business owner. I've had my business now for 7 years, and gradually it has grown to expand to a team that is just beyond me. I have other health professionals who work with me, and I have a team of administrative staff that work with me now too. And I can tell you that the 5 conversations that I'm going to present to you, should you decide to take this step with me, are conversations I wished that I had had with team members when they first came on board. So Align by Design are 5 key conversations that you can have with your team at the onboarding stage, or even when you've come to a little bit of a pickle with them and you just need to have some clarity and some frameworks, right? It's a little bit like my laundry basket. My laundry basket has got 4 slotted rods in the laundry basket that once you slot them each in, the basket looks like a laundry basket. Without it, it looks a little lopsided, it looks a little crumpled, it's awkward, it doesn't quite hold the laundry, and things just don't work the way it is. And these 5 conversations is very much like the rods that are going into the laundry basket. Once you've had them, there's basically a framework which says this is what working as a team in a small business looks like. Now, the great thing about Align by Design is I've often wished that someone else would come into my small business and say the things that I wanted to say, because I thought that it might be better received. It's a more neutral space. We're objectively looking at it together. Well, that's what Align by Design is all about. You can basically present this conversation, the 5 conversations, as something that's initiated by some general principles, some helpful guidelines that facilitate your conversations and your communication with them without it sounding like a lecture, without it sounding like you're nagging, or without it sounding like some kind of unmovable space that they feel trapped in, right? So Align by Design are 5 conversations, and what you will get should you choose to go on this journey with me are 5 clarifying conversations that helps team members who may never have worked in a small business before to understand what are some of the foundational principles of working together in a small business. How's it going to work? Well, you will get 1 set of course materials, video, templates, and worksheets for you as the business owner to really map out for yourself what the framework is for you and what the conversation that needs to be had is, with my input and my guidance, exactly the way that I would have the conversation with my team. Then you will also get the partner videos, and these will be smaller, they will be a little bit more lighter in tone, where essentially the video creates information and content for your team member so they can have a bite-sized chunk of the framework and the conversation, watch it, and then connect with you. There's a few ways you can do that. You can watch it with them, and then the videos will actually prompt them to say, now it's time for you to talk to your small business owner about this. Right? So 2 sets. 1 for you, the business owner, to really work out for you what that communication and that conversation is, and then 1 for your team member to basically get a bite-sized chunk of what it's all about. Now, why am I doing it this way? Because I've come to realize that when you have these conversations, you have common frameworks. right? So for example, with my laundry basket, if that was the metaphor that I choose to use, and it isn't, but let's say it is, I have the conversation, the four rods are understood, and further down the line, if something comes up, we can both say, hey, you remember the laundry basket in rod 1? Let's talk about that. Or remember the laundry basket and rod 2? I think this is where we might be misaligned. And basically, 5 conversations up front that you record for yourself, that you've had them, and that you can return to as a common framework. So what are these conversations? Well, first of all, business is not a swear word. So here what I will be unpacking is a really simple framework to help your team to really understand what business is. I'm not going to tell you everything now, but the basic gist of it is there isn't a chair or a biscuit or a shoe or a bag that you can consume or use without actually appreciating that that's come from business. So it's about neutralizing that acidity that comes with people when they think business is profit, business is greed. Well, no, we need to neutralize it. We need to actually understand that business is not a swear word. That's number 1. Number 2, the conversation straight up, culture the yogurt way. As you can see, the titles are really meant to be fun and light because you want to just be able to say, this is what it is. We just want to normalize. This is how we talk about business. Just like this is how we talk about culture. Culture the yogurt way is essentially a framework of actually helping our team members to see that there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. Okay? What does that look like when we talk about culture? What does good bacteria look like? What does bad bacteria look like? Number 3, connections, not connections. So this is a really cute one because this is all about conflict. Really normalizing conflict and also understanding the stages of conflict and the styles of conflict so that our team members can really slot into their head if they're having a disagreement with you or they're having a slight point of view versus really major conflict, where they can slot this so that they can see that not all conflict is going to result in a connection. So it is about connections, that in a small business, relationships are really foundational, and how we actually go about managing those relationships via a framework, something that's really clear in their mind, so that it doesn't always sound like war and connections. Winsome Wilfred. One of my biggest observations with a small business workforce is the lack of ability to see that they all not only need to manage downwards, in other words, managing their customers or their clients or the people working under them, they also need to manage upwards. This is a really common business concept. Winsome Wilfred is all about figuring out how to get into a situation where there's a win-win, how you can manage upwards, how you can actually tap into some winsome spaces and have it top of mind when you're speaking and interacting with your small business owner. And finally, the growth mindset. The growth mindset is essentially a conversation that is all about helping our team members to see that in a small business, it is really organic, and that is one of the best things about being in a small business. It's how I started my career. I worked in a small business and I got to see all the mechanics. I got to try my hands in all different things. I got to learn a bunch of stuff that until today nobody could teach me in any university course, and that the growth mindset coming into a small business, if you embrace this, is really an experience that you can't have anywhere else. And so it's about having that conversation to say, when you come into this small business, embrace the growth mindset, because this is what it's going to look like for you and me. So in a nutshell, that's what Align by Design is all about. I look forward to hearing from you.